Hello, and thank you for visiting this website. My name is Terry Garut, and I've been involved with a 13-year legal nightmare with the golf pro. It all began when we agreed to put the seller's aircraft in pre-purchase inspection. I hired a company to help with this inspection, and part of their responsibilities was a logbook review. Unfortunately, they failed to discover that this plane had severe damage history, which is important because a plane's value drops dramatically with damage history, and most buyers, including mine, are not interested because you cannot sell the airplane down the road. Unfortunately, we didn't discover this damage history until 5 months after the deal had been put together and the plane had already begun repairs to return it into airworthy condition. This resulted in multiple lawsuits, and even though I was acting as president of the company in charge of the transaction, I was individually named in several of the lawsuits. We spent 4 years going nowhere, and it wasn't until I had moved away to a new location that two of the companies decided to file motions for summary judgment, which is basically convincing the judge to convict one without a trial. And even though I had an attorney on record, the court allowed this first attorney to vacate because I had moved out of town and left me without an attorney to respond. This forced me to file a pro se response, and even though I had every legal right, in my opinion and other attorneys' opinions, to file a response for my individual claim, the judge did not allow it and convicted me without allowing any evidence whatsoever. The second company, which is the seller of the airplane, filed a motion 5 weeks after I now hired a new aviation attorney. And for some reason, this attorney not only failed to inform me that the motion had been filed, but he failed to respond to it altogether. And not only did he not respond to it, but he never admitted to the non-response. And I didn't discover this until many years later. Most of the mistakes that I found were discovered in April 2012. Because he didn't respond, all the evidence that was used against me was considered factual, and the judge ruled against me and convicted me of criminal conversion and set a judgment of $2.8 million. My attorney spent several years fighting this judgment, which now I understand was futile because there was no evidence to support the challenge. So I was left with this $2.8 million judgment of criminal conversion without presenting any evidence of mine, without a review of their evidence or any opportunity to challenge it, without a trial, without anything, without any understanding. Basically, in early year 2012, I finally went through volumes and volumes of records that had been accumulated to that point and discovered many troubling problems with this case. I took a book of evidence to a local FBI agent who agreed that there was absolutely no criminal conversion on my part and that the affidavits used against me to get me convicted seemed to contain false statements. He gave me several recommendations which I followed. We have now been fighting this judgment for almost 7 years now, and they have succeeded in running me dry of financial funds. And even though I have an open case that is still to be tried of fraud, with my company filing a fraud case against the seller, the court is now forcing me to make $1,900 a month payments towards this judgment. I'm asking at this point for any financial assistance that one can offer. I feel that with the proper financial backing that I can eventually make justice prevail and bring this to a successful conclusion. I'm also trying to educate the public so that they're fully aware of all the potential problems with the legal system, so that they may be able to avoid the type of nightmare that my family and I have had to go through. I appreciate your taking the time to look at this website. I think you'll find that there's a summary of information that will be available, along with links that will provide all kinds of specific legal documents and evidence and explanations for anyone that wants to have a full understanding of this case. Once again, I thank you for any assistance that you can offer. Have a good day.